We are in Oklahoma City for Game 5 of the finals tonight, but a little trade thunder rolled through the league yesterday when our Shams Charania reported that the Memphis Grizzlies traded Desmond Bane to the Orlando Magic for Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Cole Anthony, 4 unprotected first-round picks, and 1 first-round pick swap. That happened on Sunday. Thankfully, Shams is here with us now to explain what it all means going forward, because Shams, a whole lot of people, they're raising some eyebrows just a little bit at that pick. What more can you tell us about exactly how this deal got done?
4 unprotected first-round picks. So clearly by this trade, the Memphis Grizzlies had made the decision that they were going to move on from that core of Desmond Bane, Ja Morant, and Jaren Jackson Jr. And what this trade allows them to do is give them financial flexibility moving forward. They want to re-sign and do a new extension with Jaren Jackson Jr. So it allows them to clean the money up. Desmond Bane was on a maximum contract right now, but also allows them to move more toward a younger nucleus. They view Jalen Wells down there, who was in the Rookie of the Year candidacy, as a starting 2 of the future. So having players 2 through 5 being on both ends of the floor valuable to this team. But, of course, the big question then becomes, what do you do with the futures of Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr.? In the last 24 hours, I'm told emphatically that the Grizzlies intend to continue to build around those 2. They want to continue to retool this roster. And they have all of these draft picks now that will allow them to be active potentially in the marketplace, whether they want to draft them or use them in trades. Talking to people in Memphis, they feel like everything they've done in the last several months is not to move off Ja Morant, but actually even more to make him feel comfortable in Memphis, particularly with the coaching staff change with Taylor Jenkins to a more fluid offensive coach in Tuomas Islo.
That was kind of going to be my question. In the bluntest terms possible, are they not moving because they don't want to or because they can't? And it seems like Shams is saying they don't want to right now.
Yes, I think that makes sense because they have made the coaching change. But the rest of the league put their eyebrow up on this trade. Well done. Because this is an arms race in the Western Conference right now.
Yeah.
There's, 12-ish teams who feel like they can, make a good run in the West next year. And they just step backward. That's not meant to be any slight towards Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, but that's kind of what happened here. Now, they certainly have ammunition on their roster, but when you are a team that trades a player in his prime under control of contract for a draft, essentially a draft pick-based trade, it's just going to start those questions.
Right.
Now, they have the opportunity to show actions over words. As Shams just reported, Jaren Jackson Jr. can sign that extension. I think that's probably where we're headed, and that will lock him in. Ja Morant can sign an extension this summer as well. If that happens, then I will take the Grizzlies at their word that they are fully invested on Ja Morant. If it doesn't, the eyebrows are going to stay raised. I can't do that, Malika.
Yeah, okay, I'll keep the eyebrow raised for the Memphis side of things. On the Orlando side of things, Mark, this makes all the sense in the world. They were dead last in three-point shooting last year, and now they get one of the best three-point shooters in the league.
Yeah, as you know, I was doing a diary with Paolo at the end of the season, man. He was frustrated. He wanted more shooting, wanted more talent. Desmond Bane gives them that. And he's around the same age as these guys, so I think that their president, Jeff Weltman, feels with Paolo, Wagner, Suggs, and now Bane, that they have a core 4 guys for the future, core 4 guys that can contend. For those wondering, they didn't ask about Ja Morant. I don't think there are any conversations about Ja Morant. And the Magic feel like they're going for it. They're going to try to contend. And in order to contend and get a player like that they feel is an all-star player, you got to give up those picks, or they felt like they had to and they were willing to, but they feel like those picks with their success won't matter in the end for them.
Orlando, it seems like they want to start going for it now. And then you have Memphis, who was second in the West as late as March. It's just a little bit of a strange configuration of a season for them. All right, so that's one trade that we did see happen. Another name, though, that still hangs in the balance here is Kevin Durant. What's the latest there, Shams?
So Kevin Durant prefers to play moving forward for 3 NBA teams, either the Houston Rockets, the San Antonio Spurs, or the Miami Heat. That's the 3 teams that he would sign contract extensions with once he is traded. But for the Suns' part, the focus of their conversations have mostly been around the Miami Heat, the Houston Rockets, and the Minnesota Timberwolves, I'm told. So the Timberwolves are along with a couple other teams known as wild cards potentially for Kevin Durant, but they're going to work with his business manager and partner, Rich Kleiman, on figuring out just exactly where his home could be. As far as those Minnesota Timberwolves, they've had some discussions with the Phoenix Suns, but I'm told Kevin Durant has no desire, he has no interest in playing for the Minnesota Timberwolves. So if you're the Timberwolves, how do you evaluate it? From a basketball fit, it makes plenty of sense to bring in Kevin Durant with Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
But if Kevin Durant doesn't want to be there, how do you approach that? The Suns have had an interest level in Julius Randle and Rudy Gobert. So these conversations will be fluid between now, potentially later this week, ahead of the NBA draft.
Rudy Gobert makes sense. I mean, the rim protection really struggled for the Phoenix Suns last year, but I'm hearing that they want to work with Kevin Durant and his team and Rich Kleiman, and they also want their best deals may not be the teams that Kevin Durant wants to go to. So make these concentric circles fit, Brian.
Yeah, so when Brian Gregory was named the general manager of the Suns, he famously had his press conference and said the word alignment like 20-something times.
It's like my back. I'm trying to get my back in alignment.
But is aligning with Durant's desires their most number one priority? And so here's the thing. This is where the risk profile goes. If you're the Timberwolves, for example, even if Durant says he doesn't want to be there, as Shams is accurately reporting, would you still trade for him and say, but we're going to be able to offer him the $100 million extension,
sure,
and he can't get that necessarily in the open market next year, and we just are going to believe in that? Or are you going to lower your offer to the point where it may not be as palatable to Phoenix because you realize it's possible for a one-year rental? And does the offer come down to the point where now they start to want to work with Durant? I've been calling this the Durant triangle. You need this alignment on where Durant wants to play, how the contract works out, and something that the Suns would accept. That's going to be a hard triangle to satisfy.
KD wanted the New York Knicks. He wanted to go there. The Knicks have no interest in bringing him in, which probably makes Knicks Nation, I don't know, probably quite interested in why not. I think these three choices are by default. He definitely doesn't want to go to Minnesota, but I think there is some fear from him and Rich Kleiman that they're hoping that there's going to be respect at Kevin's age to give him what he wants rather than try to trade him like he's 31 years old, which he's not anymore. I think they're trying to get a major haul, but they're hoping that they work with him and get it done.
It makes me think of Kawhi Leonard several years back where the Raptors said, all right, we're going to take a one-year flyer. They won a championship. Obviously didn't work out long-term, but that is something that these front offices are going to need to weigh. All right, Shams, thank you so very much for your time. We really appreciate it. We know you got a busy schedule to keep here in Oklahoma City where one team will leave one win away from a title. We'll reveal the make-or-break keys to this Game 5. Hint, the play of Jalen Williams is definitely one of them, but why does he say it's actually a moment from last year's postseason that is shaping him now? My exclusive conversation with him is coming up next. Plus, she's had bigger games on paper, but was this Caitlin Clark's most important regular season performance yet? Breaking down what stood out about Saturday's big win and big return.